Hello, friends. I would like to talk again on the subject of creating harmonious relationships in our lives. And this is a very important topic, a very important aspect of life. And it's something that very much affects our mental well-being, our physical well-being, and something that we need to put energy into, because as human beings we need connection. But if that connection is unhappy, it weighs on us very deeply, and it's not good. So if we want good health, happiness, we need to strive for harmony. And I'd like to just mention one very, very important aspect of this. So let's consider intimate relationships, family relationships with parents in their marriage together, in their family life with children, and extended family, relatives, in-laws, parents, and so on. One of the things that the Bhagavad Gita talks about, which is challenging but very inspiring, is that it says to hold lightly your family, spouse, children, and by extension, extended family. The Gita says, hold them lightly, because these are the things that bind most men. And it's so true. We all know it. We all feel it. That interconnectedness, the tightly woven bonds. I had an interesting relationship with my grandmother on my father's side. We were not at all close, and yet there was a bond there that just was in the DNA. And when she was in the process of leaving her body in transition and death, I was clear across the continent and telephones were not even that generally used that often, because they were expensive to use in those days. And so I was not aware of how imminent her death was, but I felt inner turmoil around death. But my parents hadn't told me that she was leaving her body or anything. So the day, I want to say even the hour of her passing, but I'm not remembering now exactly when it was, but I know it was the day of her passing, I felt this tremendous relaxation and relief. And I found out later that that was the day that she passed. In all of the turmoil, she was not a religious person at all. And so she was very afraid of dying. And somehow, all the way across the country, I could pick that up. And I was somehow processing it right along with her. So I tell that story to illustrate how deeply connected we are with some of these relatives that we have, even as in my grandmother's case, even with people we don't think that we're that connected to. If we can work towards holding family, spouse, children, parents, everyone more lightly, not with the grip of attachment and that natural connection that is basically biological, as it was with my grandmother. If we can hold our dear ones more lightly, it will lead to much greater peace and harmony. We have to release that attachment, and it's not easy, but we can work towards it. When people that we love do things that are unfathomable to us, or just something we don't approve of, or something we question, we have a different philosophy, whatever it is, if we can back up from that intense confrontation and keep reminding ourselves that we don't own these other people, we don't own anything really, we don't own anyone. All the possessions that we have, we are stewards of. They are God's. He gave them to us ultimately. Hold all of it lightly. And the people in our lives that we love dearly and who love us and support us, we don't own them. We are just here for this momentary incarnation together, and it is a tremendous gift. We don't know when in the future incarnations that we hope we don't have very many of them, but we don't know when we will see these people again, when our paths will cross. And let's remember how fortunate we are to have them in our lives, to have them with us, caring about us, loving and supporting us. And let's not let any attachment or any disagreement on superficial politics or policies or whatever it is, let's not let those things stand in the way of our love. And so let's remember, in the heat of disagreement, in the heat of wishing that people would be and do things other than the way they want to, but rather the way we want to. I saw a silly little, I guess it was printing on a sweatshirt, and it said, "I'm not arguing with you. I'm just explaining to you why I am right." And we all have these feelings of being right, of being sure, of being a moral authority or whatever, a political authority. But we have to let go of those self-definitions. And let's just remember the love and keep the love foremost. And remember that we need to hold our loved ones lightly, not with a death grip, but with freedom, letting them be who they are and loving them anyway, but with God's love. That's the most important thing. If we can cultivate that remembrance that it is really God who is loving us in all those that love us, and that we are loving God through all those that we hold dear, then that right perspective will take root in our hearts leading to greater and greater harmony with everyone.